Hello, Lego fans, and welcome into a brand new episode of Brick Hour Time Capsule. This is episode 4 of the series. I am your host, JJ, otherwise known as Langster Builds on Instagram. With me, as always, is my Batman mask wearing co-host,
This is our
Cam.
Batman episode, right?
Dear God, Cam.
Oh, I'm an episode late.
You're an episode late.
Damn. Elmo.
Instead of that worth $5. $5.
Welcome, Cam.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for throwing off my intro, dude.
I
And
had
with,
to.
and with us today for our very special episode is a very special guest. Back for his second appearance is Rob, otherwise known as Robs WW2 Bricks.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here and can't wait to talk about Exo-Force.
Oh, yes, we
For
are here to
sure.
talk about Exo-Force. We are following up last month's 2006 themed video with yet another 2006 themed video. Why? Because 2006 just had a bunch of GOAT themes, and that's how we're kind of starting off the bat with a lot of
Yeah.
super fun stuff.
I think also for a bunch of us, it's that age range where some of us started to get into Lego. I think for me, I remember that's one of the first
Yeah,
themes that I kind of
Mhm.
remembered and started getting a few sets for because I was starting to come of
correct.
age where I could build Lego, and I think that's why like that Power Miners, early Batman sets, all that kind of
Mhm.
era and time
Clone
frame was kind of
Wars.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars was right at
Yeah.
the
It
tail
was
end of
a
that.
it's a different era of Lego that is both, I feel like, remembered fondly, but also forgotten at the same time, just like with like the building techniques
Yeah.
and just the different themes that Lego had.
So, what is Time Capsule? For those who are finding this for the first time and don't know, this is a retrospective series where we look back on retired Lego themes and kind of go through what were they about, what kind of sets did they have. We look at the sets and then we talk about the theme's legacy. If you're finding this for the first time, we have 3 other episodes. We have Galaxy Squad, Video, and Batman 2006. So if once you're done watching this one, jump back and watch the old ones because they're pretty great. So, kind of like I alluded to, there are 3 parts to this video. Part one is we're just going to talk about what Exo-Force was. What was this theme about? General synopsis, how long it ran for. Then we're going to go into big screen mode, go to brick set, and we're going to look at a lot of the different sets. Exo-Force had a ton of sets, so we're going to kind of jump around at some of the biggest hits, and some that have some fun little trivia about them. And then we're going to go to part three, which is overall legacy. How was this theme remembered? Why was it canceled? And was it discontinued? If we know the answer to that. And then we're going to go from there. So, starting off, what is Exo-Force? Exo-Force was a theme from 2006, and this comes right from the Lego Wiki.
Hmm.
Lego Exo-Force was a theme that was launched in 2006 and discontinued in 2008. It focused on a team of elite pilots that used robotic mechanical machines, mecha, to protect their home against attacking robots. The backstory for the toy sets was detailed in associated media, including an online comic and a series of storybooks. That is the gist of Exo-Force. It was basically Lego's version of Gundam,
Yeah, anime,
effectively.
manga.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was super generally that, but it was kind of like that. Like I said, there was 3 years of sets. All of them, for the most part, are either mechs or mechanized tanks or like super futuristic military type stuff.
Mhm.
And it revolved around the human pilots fighting like these drone robots that were seeking to destroy this mountain civilization.
So Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it was basically Terminator with mechs. Um, a lot of these sets are remembered pretty fondly, but that's going to get into the legacy portion. Everyone's first thoughts, starting with Rob.
Um, like I said, Exo-Force was one of those first themes when I was younger that kind of got me into Lego. Like I had a few city sets and things like that, but it was kind of one of those cool and interesting themes of like me and all my brothers each got, different mechs and could play with them and battle and so also going on the books. I remember getting the Scholastic put out the books and I was able to get those at like the school book fair and
Oh
reading
my
those I think
God.
also was fun. And so, giving, learning more about the lore of like, how it was one mountain and then got split into two and there's these, bridges and it's a whole fight between the robots that were, used to be friendly and then the pilots or operators of these mechs and stuff and that kind of, fun, I guess, yeah, Japanese style, like manga. And I guess at the time I didn't really know it was that style of stuff, but I was just thought, mechs are cool and stuff like
Mhm.
that when I was little. But yeah,
So I guess for me, like I don't really remember this theme growing up per se. I think I was more into like Lego Harry Potter and just a few. Like I remember having like a big blue tub of Lego. I just kind of did my own story. I mean, I had a couple of Spider-Man Raimi sets, but I don't remember this theme too much. It's I've learned more about it as the years have gone on, and specifically probably the part that I remember most is the hair pieces because I remember it was on
Yeah,
Nightwing in Lego Batman.
they were all rubber,
It
yep,
was.
all
I
rubber hair
always
yep,
thought that
pieces.
was very interesting, different colors.
yep. There was purple, green, and then the black, and I think the hairpiece is there's two or three different styles,
There was
and
blue also, I think.
blue,
Wasn't there
yeah,
orange?
blue.
Yeah, there was a blue one.
Was there orange?
There might have been orange.
Let me
We'll see it when we go
see.
to Brick Set.
I distinctly
Uh,
remember one of
red,
the,
red.
I
Oh,
remember I had the Lego. Yeah, there was a white armored pilot with red hair. That's right.
Yes,
yes.
Um,
Hayato or
yeah,
Hayato.
Hayato. I
Hayato.
distinctly remember in one of like the like Lego builder books that you used to be able
Hmm.
to buy online or whatever, there was a truck for like one of the farms, and they were using the green Exo-Force hair pieces as like cabbages,
Oh,
which was a
jeez.
really great use of that part.
Yeah,
It was.
I
I mean, that's really all I remember. Like I've learned more about it as like the years have gone on. Like people talk about how fond they were of the theme, like little Easter eggs here and there of old Lego sets in either Ninjago City or a Monkey Kid set, like any like Lego theme IP.
Mhm.
You'll see little Easter eggs of Exo-Force every now and then.
Yeah.
Like that's my
I,
experience with it.
and I think bringing up one of Rob's points is the books were immensely popular. Like people liked the books. It was a big part of the theme. There was a whole interconnected story. And that was back when Lego's original themes kind of relied on those. Like Bionicle
Mhm.
was like peak in stride. The comic series for Bionicle was going nuts. And a lot of the themes had tie-in comics because
Mhm.
Bionicles were just doing so well. Like,
Mhm.
why would you not put one out there? And Exo-Force was supposed to have 7 books. They only hit 5. So like the story was left unfinished. We'll get to that later.
I
But
wonder if it had come out like a few years later, if it would have gotten like a TV show treatment like Ninjago or
I
Nexo
think,
Knights
yeah,
or Galador.
get out of here with Galador. Stop bringing up Galador.
I have to.
no
It bugs you so much.
Galador though does kind of if you get into the parts of some of the mechs and stuff, Galador kind of comes in because I think they use the similar ball
They
joint
use similar
mechanisms.
ratchet joints, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Now
So
speaking
yeah,
speaking of the sets, let's get into talking about them now because Exoforce had some real gems as we
yeah,
go into big mode here, big screen mode.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
now what
also,
is, go ahead, Rob, sorry.
do you guys remember? So I did. I think there was a game as well on the old Lego Club website and stuff for
Yes, I
Exo
remember
Force.
that.
I remember used to playing that all the time when you're like, at school, you get your 15 minutes of computer play time and be on the Lego website playing the Exo Force game, going around blasting all the robots.
Yeah, I very much remember that.
for sure.
So let's start scrolling here. We'll go past some of the little polybag ones because they're kind of just
There.
whatever. They're
Yeah.
there.
I love the
Some
names.
of,
White good guy, red good guy.
Um,
This is the one I think of as like one of the more iconic ones. Like I remember this
Yeah,
being in a
let's talk
city
about
set.
Stealth Hunter. Yeah, because this ended up being in a city set recently. They remade it a little bit, and this yeah, Cam's right. This is one of the more iconic sets was the Stealth Hunter.
yes.
One of the really cool things they had was they had the tubes that went into the weapons that made
Oh
the weapons
wow.
light up.
Yeah, the light bricks and the fiber optic. And so early on in the series, that was actually a play feature.
Yep.
And that was like in the lore, that was the thing powering the mechs. And so like if you
Oh.
see that little cone piece in lever, there's like a little bar piece. If you go up towards the by the radar dish, yeah, that
There it
piece
is.
there, if they it was a crude feature, but it's built into it. If you press that cone, the light brick's supposed to eject out, and that's supposed to be like, oh, you defeated
Oh.
it and like it lost its power and stuff.
Okay.
Um, the weapons for these sets are also absolutely wild. Like the cannon looks like an actual like rifle, which is wild. The
Yeah.
sword is like bionicle weapon, is like a bionicle blade.
Yeah.
Um,
And this was only 15 bucks. And it
Yeah.
looks
yeah,
pretty sizable.
like the
Yeah.
giant like wing pieces on these are just insane. Like they're very blocky, but
That was
the
Lego
like
back then.
yeah, but like there's a good they're very stylized, and that's not a
Hmm.
problem at all. So
Yeah.
we can keep on going past this one because there's a couple we got to look at here that are really impressive. Yeah, there's
I mean,
that's
look
kind
at
of
that
like
hairpiece.
Yeah. And I think two hair pieces were specifically made for this,
yes,
two or three, and then and so like the one hairpiece in black then was used again, and I
it was
don't.
used in Nightwing.
Yeah.
Grand Titan's another like that thing is just beefy and bulky. It's got the
Yeah.
giant six shooter cannon and the claw arms and
Hmm.
yeah, this was another sick one.
And that was 15 too. Wow. It's
Yeah.
going for over almost 100 now, which is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Some of
they've
these
shot
sets
up in
are
value. Thunder Fury, yeah, this is
Thunder
another.
Fury. Yeah.
I will say I don't think the bad guy regular mechs are fine, but the villain sets really exceeded expectations when they got bigger. I shouldn't say the
Oh
Fire
yeah.
Vulture. The Fire Vulture was
That
sick.
looks pretty cool. Like
That
that
one
engine in the
one's
back.
cool. That
I
one,
do love that
yes. So
one.
that fan piece that was specifically made for these sets, and so it's like a dual
Really?
molded piece.
Yeah.
I picked this one up a couple of years ago because I found it for kind of cheap online, and I was like, oh, I gotta have it. I was like, Exo-Force is back. But kind of also another big thing that like you know how everyone now complains about so many stickers and Speed Champions.
Hmm.
Exo-Force had a lot of stickers.
They had a
Really?
ton of stickers.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah, digging into the research and stuff, they used a lot of stickers.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and there's the giant turbine blades again.
Yeah.
And so and then as well for the mechs. So going into them, I know you had all the human minifigures, but this was they made a very cool and interesting new
Robot. Robot
robot
heads.
that
Oh,
and the arm piece. This was the first time that like robotic arm piece
Yep.
like appeared and
First time it had ever been seen.
yeah, and Lego still uses it today. Plus, they did a lot of this like intricate, and not intricate, but interesting dual molding.
Dude, I
And
wish they kept making
yeah.
these. These
and
robots are
yeah,
so sweet. I wish they'd make more
and
of
so
them.
like yeah, they have that like the trans neon's green, the trans neon red, and
Wow.
like each one was like a certain like specialty. Like I think that green one was supposed to be like special forces. The red one was like I forget what the red ones were, but
Yeah, there's
um
another one.
yeah, they had blue, they had red, they just had plain like silver. They had the iron domes.
I
Yep, I
wish
had.
we got more parts that were like fused colors because it kind of just adds a little more character to it.
Yeah,
It
no, they were.
reminds me of like that old toy where you would like melt crayons together to make other
Mhm.
crayons and it
Yeah, it
was like different
does.
colors.
That's a good way to kind of compare those.
Yeah, and then
Um,
trying to think because there was a few interesting part
all right,
usages.
Mobile Defense Tank is
Yeah,
literally one of the
Wow.
coolest sets Lego's ever made. Like, my God, that's incredible.
And it's only
yeah,
30 bucks back
It
then.
was 30
and
bucks.
so
Yeah.
if you look on it, so part of this, I think, so you see that disc shooter. That this
Yeah.
was these
Yeah.
sets were the first time that disc shooter showed up, and it was a very limited run with those disc shooters.
Hmm.
They didn't work well.
No,
The
they
discs
were
were cool and
terrible.
stuff, but and I think from what I think it was what Exo-Force. I think there was one Avatar set that got it,
Yes,
and there
I
was
think you're right.
either a Bionicle set got it as well, or there was one other set I believe that got that shooter.
Oh, there's
It's
Nightwing's hair.
Yeah,
yep.
there it is, the gate guard.
So the Gate Guard, he's actually one of the more pricier Exo-Force figures.
Really?
Yeah, well, so he only appeared in two sets, and some people, and it's probably also due to the hair, because the if I
Nightwing.
remember correctly, yeah, Nightwing's kind of expensive,
Yeah, so
and
everybody
so
gets that to get his hair.
yeah.
Yeah, new in box. It's like $100, which is wild.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Um,
he's fair. I mean,
that's expensive.
1750
1750 is pricey for an older figure like that.
for, well, just for a non-named character too.
True,
Yeah.
true, but it's like if you look at the line, like you get the main
He's
characters from a lot of
470.
sets, yeah,
That should tell
and
you.
it's because yeah, all the other guys they're common. They came in a lot of the sets. The Gate Guard, yeah, he was only in two sets.
Yeah, this the look of this tank is just like the Technic frame and
Hmm.
the treads are like the rubber. I hate the rubber treads, but like
Can we just recognize the box art for a second? Like you don't get box art like this
No,
anymore.
Oh yeah, no,
not at
Like
all.
you have
the
another set in the background.
so yeah, the box arts for this were amazing. The instruction manuals were great because like
Yep.
because you'd get this picture on the front, but then in the back, most of these models they had alternate builds
Yeah,
as
alt
well.
builds.
Oh,
A lot of
Um,
Lego sets back in this era, in this
yeah,
age, had alt builds.
yeah. I don't
They're
know.
probably not gonna pop up at all.
They
You probably,
might be in the
you
instructions.
probably
I'm
have to
trying.
download the
probably.
instructions, and
I'm
that
curious to see
takes
how much this
forever.
part cost.
Let me get,
1075 for this new.
dang.
Yeah, see that, and that's probably why the figure is going expensive because
Yeah.
if
Um,
you need that hair, that's a cheaper way to get it.
as he pulls up the instructions, scroll all the way to the bottom, like the very end.
Yeah,
Oh my God, look at I mean I'm surprised to even see that they got the what parts to put on there because some instructions didn't do that.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
I think in some of the later instructions though, they like the last
Nice
wave.
build.
Holy mother, that's a giant
And,
boat.
Flashback.
oh
Wow.
yeah,
Dino,
and
Dino 2010.
yeah, so they have like
There's
this
some
is
of the
like
comic.
part of the comic,
Yeah, that's
more
sweet.
of the comic. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't make this a TV show.
They weren't really doing TV shows back then.
no,
Galador.
Yeah, when Galador was a failure, so it's probably why they didn't give us a. Yeah, there it is. Dude,
there it
Oh,
that's
is.
even cooler
cool.
than the actual set.
Yeah, no, and some of these, especially I know like in the later wave of like the jungle stuff, they were doing combined ones. So you would take
Yeah, the
two
combiners.
yeah, two sets and then like even like here you're seeing all the other sets in there and stuff.
We
And it's
we need
just
to we need to get to that giant walker. So let's get back so we can look at some other ones
yeah,
here, Cam.
there's a lot of cool sets in there.
So I'm gonna keep
Let's see.
scrolling down. Yeah,
That
Striking
one.
Venom, dude. This is like one of my most wanted sets of all time.
It is a really nice set.
Like
Trophy for the Batcave.
way too big for the Batcave.
He'd need another like three sections of the Batcave.
Dude,
This
it's
is
giant.
like yeah, it's and so this one also was the I think first set in the series to come with the main, I guess, villain called
Yeah,
Mecha
the
One.
yep.
And so he was like a golden and black drone. But in this set, and it was so these are just the normal drones. So it's probably under parts. They didn't give a full figure. You only got the torso and the arms
Yeah, you
in
didn't
the
get the
early
legs.
releases. And so people complained to Lego and they were like, where are the legs? And so later
Mm.
releases, they sent out the legs. The legs were included, or other sets included the legs.
There it is. Go down more,
Oh, the
Cam.
gold. And these are the only two here.
Yep, go down more. There it is. Yeah, wild. Yeah, Mecha One is one of those, dude, 209 sealed. Wow. I just love like I miss how these sets were just vast. Like if we can look at it real quick. Like look at it again. Like look how the footprint this thing has is just enormous.
And like it didn't care about style. It cared about the size. Like it didn't care about the style in the sense of it didn't care if it showed exposed studs or
No.
just simple
No,
brick. Like this is the simplest brick structure you can get. It's a probably what 1 by 14 or something.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah, and
Technic
then
bar, and it was huge because they didn't waste part count on making it look smooth and clean. Like they just cared about the result of the set and like it's a toy. It's supposed to be played with.
Yep.
yeah, no, it was that was yeah, that was one of the ones like they use like the buckets from like construction sets as like
The
the feet
claws.
and the claws
Hmm.
and all that and stuff. And yeah, and they do really like their guns and their blasters on these.
Yeah, the minigun build style is wild.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right in the
And
front
then
there.
There's
Looks
that
so good.
that light brick.
Yep, the light brick.
that's so cool. And like, it's interesting how they got like all the characters like on the side shooting.
Yeah, the drones.
You
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't see designs like
they're
that.
literally like wired into it, which is nuts.
Mhm.
I think the next set we'll look at is gonna end up being not uplink. Keep going
So,
past
well,
that one.
upward real quick. So his shoulder pads are actually off of one of the like the hockey player sets.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about
Really?
that.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
those are the hockey helmets.
Yeah. So that's like
Wow.
you wouldn't like think of that like oh wow it's it's like okay yeah it's a little drone a little I think what this one was $7 or something this like it was a
It's
real cheap
cheap.
Five
yeah
bucks.
Five.
five yeah
And it's going for 37 now.
yeah but yeah the part usage on this there's another one of the smaller mechs that uses a I think a 4 plus
There it is.
um not this one but one of the white
I had
ones
that. I remember having that one.
the Sentry is cool yeah no it's I don't know. Well, it'll when it
We'll
pops
We'll
find
up,
it.
find
I'll
it.
yeah, we'll find it. It
Let,
uses a motorcycle part from like I think the Jack Stone.
yeah, let's look at Sentai Fortress because Mother of God, what a base this is. Like,
Yeah,
holy crap.
Huge.
didn't what did this retail for what like 100, right?
$100.
100. And it's
Yeah,
going for 309 new.
which I believe I have that blue mech in there. I think I
And if I'm not wrong, that white mech that's
Oh,
there
here it
is
is.
there's Mecha
Mecha
One.
1.
yep
See, I want more pieces like this. Like, I don't understand why Lego stopped going that route. It just added character. And
yeah
like there
well
was
it's
never
probably
probably one that looked the same. Like I'm sure
no.
everyone who has one is a little bit different.
Oh yeah, definitely because of how those are injected. But
It
it's probably it was just cost. It just
there's kind of like the leader.
yep.
Cam, if we go back to the first the picture of it, yeah, like first of all, there's a polybag set in this. Like that little white thing is
Hmm
100% the white good guy set, which is
Oh
wild.
my God.
Um,
Yeah.
but this thing's footprint, huge,
Hmm.
huge,
Giant, yeah.
ginormous, and the giant like orange Technic pieces that make the frame of the gate, like, come on, man, like you don't get play sets like this anymore at
No,
all.
no.
No, at all.
Like you can, and I think this
And there
one
was
comes with all the main characters. It comes with everybody,
Yeah, it does.
all
You get
four
everyone.
main characters.
The Scorpion, yeah.
yep,
Hayato,
Ryo,
Hikaru,
Hayato.
Takeshi, Ryo, and I can't pronounce the sensei's name to save my life, but um
But the fact that this had 1400 over 1400 pieces in it.
for $100.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were giant. A lot of them big
Hmm.
pieces. Like big, large molds.
Could you imagine if they tried remaking this set today?
It would be like
Dude.
$6,000 if they did that.
Yeah. Well, because you got what? At least two big mechs. So
Yep.
like
Yeah.
those mechs, it's not like oh they were like okay we'll make two smaller mechs and then a base. And then you got two small builds because you have the spider like mech droid down there
Yeah, that
climbing
thing is
off,
cool looking.
and
Hmm.
then
Oh yeah.
and then on the walls there's four wall sections and each has its own sliding like portion,
Yep.
and so like they put a lot of play feature and a lot of like you could break down the gate and like oh there's a repair bay for the mech like it's
Yep. There was a docking bay for the mech, which was
I
nuts.
mean, perfect
Like
yeah
this,
example. Look at all the exposed studs. Like that was probably one of the more simpler door designs that they've done. And when you're a kid, you don't care about how clean and smooth it is. Like you just
no.
want a door
oh
to break
You
through.
care you had a
no
giant robot base to play
yeah
with. That's what you cared about.
and like I saw a picture of the sticker sheet though for this one because like everything you pretty much see like all the little details that's all stickers.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
It's
It's
all
stickers. The
stickers.
sticker sheet was huge for this set.
It's just like ridiculously enormous for no apparent reason. Um, so let's keep moving on here so we don't waste too much time missing out. So Sentry was cool. I had that one as a kid. The
Centuries
Supernovas,
one.
that's a fun one. I had that one as a kid. Supernova is a sweet one.
Looks like a cool
Um,
battle axe.
yeah, the Battle Axe was cool.
Yeah.
This thing, oh my God, just
Yeah.
another one that I really want to get one day. Like this thing is just insane. Like, come on.
They really went all out with the some of the bigger
Yeah, like
villain.
Wow.
Yeah. Like and
thing
it's
is
just
insane.
it's such a like it's like simple but it's not and like you
Hmm.
had you just all the launchers and all the
There's a lot of
different like
character to
features.
it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it looks like in his eyes, like
Hmm
it was sweet.
Plus you also got like the small white mech with it. So this was yeah, this is what I think you got both of them. So
You
they
could
did
combine them.
yeah, so then you could combine them. Same with I think like the next one.
Yep, they had both of those together. Same thing
Yeah,
with the bonus value
yeah.
max. This is one of the first teams that did that too, where it was like, hey,
Hmm.
here's the thing, and you're good. Um, you can merge them into one, and there's the little mini walkers, which are fine. Um,
Yeah, they're just kind of funny for like the number of pieces like
I
looking at
love
them
the
like
fact that they have to hold the arms in their hands. They're just
yeah, like
lines.
he's literally just holding it. Like that's
This is going
it.
for 38 bucks new.
It, probably
So
gonna be
some of them were like only European releases. I don't and
Oh,
like and there was one of them, I don't know which one, came in a battery pack, like a
right here,
Duracell
giving
battery
away
pack.
free with a Disney comic in Norway. Keep scrolling
Yep.
down. I'll probably
what?
say more.
This was
That
not
Yep,
that
that
one
one
was
wasn't
not released.
released. Granted, that one, so that one is all common pieces, but the turbines in the back are connected to the robot's head because it has a Technic axle
Yep.
connection.
Oh, wow.
The poor guy's
Interesting.
head's got to be enormous. There it is right there. That one.
Yep. Yep.
Also available boxed, free with Duracell batteries. Like
What?
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Well, and so like if we don't even talk the set, so if you talk about like some of the weird like side items you could get with this series, it was like they made a foam rocket launcher.
Yep.
They had like I saw straws, like you could
Oh,
get straws and
those
straw
are garbage.
covers and just, they had posters and like your typical stuff. But they had a lot of
Bro, the
interesting
cannon on
and
that thing is
different
nuts.
different stuff. Combat
Look at
Crawler
that.
X2.
Dude, Combat Crawler X2 is another goated set. Like, dear
Yeah.
Lord, like how sick is this
Because
thing?
this was what? This was later. This was before
That was
Golden
'07.
City.
This is
Yeah.
Golden City.
This is Golden. Yeah, oh yeah, this is
It
Golden
was out for
City.
4 months.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of well, this was this the special release one? Because I know each wave had like one special
It
release
might
set.
have been. I think this was the special release one.
But even
Like,
like yeah, but
yeah, go back to the image cam. There we go. Yeah, Combat Crawler 2. Dude, the thing is so baller.
but even like so like that like little tiny mech, like it's literally a blaster because it has a one Technic arm in the back that you can
Yeah,
hold it, and then the launch actual launch mechanisms underneath.
it's like a trigger. It's a literal like
Yeah.
pistol you can
Wow.
hold.
But
Um,
then that mech comes off the walker. Cyclone Defender. I have that literally right on my. It's right here. He's a little
yeah.
damaged, but I have him. He was one of the ones I loved when I was a kid. Because
And this was when they started doing like weapons that the mechs held in their hands, which was
hmm
sweet.
Yeah.
And
They
then
were
you see
using more
the
bionicle parts.
yeah, then the codes. So if you like, so on that one had
Yep.
a golden code. This one, I think, right underneath the pilot's head has a code, and that would
Oh.
unlock stuff on the Lego website.
Yep.
Like you like
Oh.
digital stuff. Um, And so like that was the new power up thing. And in the lore that was like you got the codes and you put them into the supercomputer in the Golden City and that would unlock these mechs. And that was kind of the stuff around it. Sky Guardian has I forget what it's the exact name of the Bionicle ball launcher.
Yep. This
Like
Hammer Sphere launcher.
they pulled a lot of stuff from Bionicle, things like
Which
that.
made sense because those projectiles
Oh
were a
yeah.
gajillion times better than
Got a nice little
the
Yeah.
skeleton in here. Is that how it's
Yeah, that was
powered?
this gets dark. Yeah, that one was dark. They're dark for Lego, like the lore behind it of like in the lore that's they put a human in there, so they're like, well, the Exo-Force are less likely to attack their fellow humans, so we're going to use them as pretty much human shields. But Lego was
they're
like,
all
nah,
You didn't use
skeleton.
them to power
but
them? Oh
they're all
my
dead.
God.
Yeah.
Skeleton evil floppy. The
Wow.
evil skeletons are funny. Um, the Iron Condor. This is one of the better, cooler ones because it had the wing pack on it.
hmm
Like that thing
I
was
had this
baller.
one. This one was cool. I had this one.
Yeah, that one was baller.
I loved that giant rocket launcher on the arm. I
Yep.
would just fire that all the time at my Lego guys and stuff.
Yeah, it's sweet. Um, Arrow Booster. We're gonna spend a few minutes on this one because holy crap, was this not just the
It looks like it's
coolest
got three
thing?
rockets propelling it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it had
does.
a giant jetpack on the back of it that you could like
It
there was like a handle to hold it and everything.
like that thing gives me like Optimus Prime's like flight
Yes.
suit from his trailer vibe. Like
Oh yeah.
that like this predated that. And like you like it's got the bionicle feet and it's got the grippers, like the hands are holding the like the control yoke.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the two giant cannons mounted to the two other posable arms. The jetpack has the three turbines. Like this was like peak '07, like Legos firing on all cylinders and just knows what people want. It's got the
And
code
this
on the
was
front of it.
$30.
How is
Yeah,
this only $30?
this would be like $100 nowadays,
Like and that's what
if that.
Oh yeah. Plus, it has those giant turbine pieces in the back. I think this coloration was like a flat silver and like a light blue, and I think it only came in this set.
Something like, yeah, I think you're right.
And I think I have some. Yeah, I have two of them sitting on the shelf. I don't know where I got them, but I found them the other day digging through one of my bins.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
turbine.
In
so
one
those,
set.
yeah,
Yeah, it's that one. Um,
like yeah, I don't. They're not like pricey and stuff, but they're just. It's a
no, they're
cool
just
piece that I don't think was used a lot.
yeah. Um, Looking at some more stuff here. Fight for Golden Tower is another really cool one.
That was a good one. That one
Um,
had that introduced a new character to
yes, it did. That introduced who was in that? What was her name? Hitomi. Yes, there she is.
Tony.
She was
Yeah.
in that. She was I think she was only in this set too.
I think
One
she's
set.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
I
I
think
thought
she's
she was
just
in
in
one
that.
more, but no.
I mean,
Um,
unless they gave her a different print.
Dude, Mobile Devastator. Another goated set. Like,
That one
wow.
is it's kind of along the lines of everything else of it. It's a very like if you like looking in today's standards and looking at it, it's like it's a very simplistic set, but
Hmm.
it's still like
It
It
got the
holds
has a
job
up.
done.
lot, yeah, because you got a lot of like Devastators and
Mecha one's in that
Mecha
again.
One,
It's
yeah.
six, not
Yeah,
three. Wow.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so like those ones, there's the side pockets, like the side like cages like folded down, and the
Hmm.
Devastators were in there, and they were deployed,
It was
and those,
basically it was basically the Exo-Force version of the MTT.
yeah, yeah, and like those giant wheels, um,
Dude, those things are sweet.
yeah, I think they were also used. That wheel was also used in Power Miners on the one rig.
Yes, it was. It was used in the base as like a thing it spun around with.
Yeah,
So far,
Um,
it's in one set, but the design, let's take a look.
it's probably used in a couple.
One
it
That
might
set.
have
color, yeah. So,
maybe it was a different diameter because it was a green one. There's
oh, the
also
Bionicle.
Thornatus,
yeah.
goaded.
See, that's the
Um,
thing. Exo-Force and Bionicle have a lot of overlapping parts, which makes sense for like the theme and stuff.
yeah, and they
Hmm.
were out at the same time. Let's get to the jungle before we blow through way too much time here. Um, these ones weren't as great,
So
but there
these
was
ones, I had more of these ones, but what I liked about these ones is that they gave like little mini builds. Like you got like a little
yes,
mini character,
Yeah.
which was cool.
or like a mini Bob.
Like I had
They
that
turned into
one.
weapons. Yeah, this the
Like
Assault Tiger was one of my like favorite sets of all time.
yeah, like so like that little gun there, yeah, would come off and be like its own little mini character. Um, Million Hunter, that was cool.
The Panther. Here we go.
Dark
This
Panther. Yeah. This one I had this one
Wow.
when I was a kid. I loved this one because those the guys with the little jetpacks that they used to saw blades as like the rotors, those guys could come off. They had the spider was in the middle, and so you had to fold back the gun because it was using an angle bracket, so you could pull a little spider out. Um, but another really cool, interesting fact about that Panther one, that's what was it? What dark? It was teal. And that's what killed.
Yep.
Was it dark? It was either dark teal or teal. Because the designer, because this was the Lego had come out and said, "Hey, we're ending it, and this is going to be the last wave." And so the designer was given a choice: you either make this in purple or you make it in teal, and whichever one you don't do kills that color.
Wow.
and you picked purple.
Medium lilac.
Those
Yes.
spikes were another, I think, a new piece or new to
Newish
Exo-Force
about this.
piece that they made.
The
Wow.
Storm Lasher, like I love the fact that this uses like the like orc swords from the castle, the Knight's Kingdom
Oh my
theme
God.
as rotor blades,
Yeah,
the dragon flappies, and then the last one is the hybrid rescue tank. That thing is also sweet.
yeah.
Not as cool as the orange one before, but like it's still up there and
No.
like
Not a
cool.
lot of
But
sets for the Storm series
No,
or the
so it
Deep
was it
Jungle.
was yeah, because they had announced before this wave release that hey, this is gonna be the last wave. Um there was one set that got unreleased, but then later it got leaked online, and that's like book 6 and 7 were supposed to follow along this jungle theme.
yeah,
Um and so there was one or two sets that one at least confirmed set that like
Hmm.
never got released, but then later on it was in I think like a Brick Journal or something, and
Yeah, it showed up there.
there was enough common pieces that people could you can rebuild it. You can rebuild it and all that.
So speaking of that, getting into the theme's legacy, how is Exo-Force remembered? Rob kind of already alluded to it, but I'm going to let him go into why it was that Exo-Force was canceled and discontinued.
Um, so based off my research and from watching some different YouTube videos, it was kind of just Lego. The corporate said it just wasn't selling. And they decided to pull it, and they and unlike Lego, which typically when they discontinue, they kind of it's a soft discontinue. They don't really say anything. It just no new sets are announced or anything. They actually came out and said, "Hey, we're going to cancel Exo-Force."
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
2008 January release, that's going to be it, and then we're going to be done. It just didn't sell well. We're going to move on with different ventures, and so
And
it's kind of an interesting thing.
and when you
Hmm.
look at what Exo-Force went up against in that year, in the years it was out, Batman was out, Harry Potter was out, Star Wars was still out, Bionicle was still a juggernaut that was rolling, and it was just like Agents was still like was I think getting
Mhm.
going a little bit or was around. So it's like
It had a lot of competition.
there was a ton of in-company competition and like is a little kid gonna pick between the Batmobile or some random robot they never seen? They're
You mean is
probably gonna,
JJ gonna pick the Batmobile?
but like recognizable,
No,
like
absolutely.
recognizably, like a little kid might lean more towards I want the Batmobile because it's
Yeah.
the Batmobile. Um, but I think Exoforce's legacy on the whole is one of the better themes from that era. It is
Oh
remembered
yeah.
very fondly and has a large fan base.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, it
It's a
has,
very original theme, honestly. Like you don't have
yes,
you know I can't think of another theme that compares to it with the like the mech wise. I mean, you'll get mechs here and there, like either a Batman mech or the sub theme within like Marvel of all those mechs like Ghost Rider,
or
Iron Man, Thanos, but like
Ninjago,
Ninjago.
Ninjago's a
Monkey
big one,
Kid.
but like
Yeah.
you haven't seen another theme like Exo-Force. Now, is that because Lego didn't want to try and do a theme similar to it because it didn't sell well, or because it was just so original? If you tried to do anything else, people would just say, "Oh, that's Exo-Force."
I think the problem with do I think they could bring Exoforce back now and like reboot it? No, you definitely couldn't. I think the problem is because Ninjago A will eat it alive.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
It like if the rumors would have been believed and Monkey Kid is cooked, like what are you to do? Like, I think you put anything in the like more Eastern like manga anime styled theme, kind of like how Ninjago is done.
right.
Ninjago's gonna cannibalize it. Like, there's no chance that Exoforce would make it. And also, like, it's a mech sub theme. I think people nowadays are getting tired of mech
A
builds.
little bit.
Like
Like,
if Exoforce were to come back, if they were to do anything as like some sort of reboot, it would have to be like an 18 plus icon set,
Oh yeah.
kind of like the Galaxy Explorer. Like
Hmm.
if you came out and did like a super beefed up like Stealth Hunter, I could see it. Like
yeah.
I could see it. I could see that.
Ooh,
But like
here's
bringing
an
it
idea.
back is a no.
Here's an idea. What if it was a wave of sets within Ninjago where like they team up or something? Like it's Ninjago traveled somewhere and they came across this
I could see that.
Exo-Force team
It'd
and
be
they're teaming up against Pythor or
I
something. Or
mean, they
like
did it with. I mean, they did it with Clutch Powers. So like
it's
that
possible.
I could see that happening. Like they come upon like the Exoforce team and they're just older like that.
I mean,
yeah.
I think that would be an interesting way to
two
do it.
Lego IPs. It's a way to sneak some Exo-Force in to kind of bring it to the modern age, tie it in with Ninjago so like it can quote unquote become canon
Yeah.
to the Ninjago universe and they can
It's
get
Clutch
that TV
Powers now is
show specialty. It
Yeah.
could be a lot of fun.
Well, so they have brought Exo-Force to the modern age. So if you look like
Yeah, that one city set.
most yes, the one city set, the one with the coaster or whatever, it had
yep.
an homage to Exo-Force. It had the one mech, but then also like I think there's been like subtle nods here and there and either like backgrounds of like stickers, like what they do with a lot of like Lego IPs and things
Hmm.
like that. Um, but at least I know Lego, yeah, the likelihood of Lego actually bringing Exo-Force back, I feel like is very
Hmm.
low. Though something I have at least seen is an uptick in the mock side of things and like,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
creators of people either, redesigning Exo-Force, sets so and making them, with modern parts and redoing them, or just coming up with, hey, this is within the same style and line of Exo-Force, but like building that and designing those and things like that. And I definitely there's a few that popped up on Rebrickable that I definitely plan on making and getting at some point because I'm like, that's cool. That's sets from my childhood and like that theme.
Like,
Hmm.
there's also the point of like BrickTap, the Discord server that everyone knows for leaks and all that. They ran a mock contest this past month, and the two of the sets that were in the top three were both Exo-Force remakes.
Yeah,
It was the one that won the
that base,
was
right?
Sentai Fortress, and the other one was the Arrow Booster, and they were phenomenally built. Like, man, they're awesome. And I kind of sat there like it made me think like this theme could work. Like you could bring it, but I'm also just like no, because Ninjago is just the three-headed monster that'll just eat it alive. So it's
Yeah.
like there's no reason.
The only way it
But
would work is if it was brought within Ninjago. Like it doesn't take the lead as a supporting character, but I'm sure all the Exo Force fans would eat that up just to get some quote unquote Exo Force sets again.
yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of the Exo-Force fans, the books, obviously like the books in the comic series that Lego started, was never finished. They never got to get to book 6 or 7. However, the Exo-Force fan community did, and they did. There's a bunch of people that have like done their own versions, and they've told the end of that story, and it's cool. Like it reminds me a lot of like I mean everybody knows the Bionicle community is just out there and is
Hmm.
huge, but the Exo-Force community is big. It's not Bionicle big, but there are people that do love that theme and have told their own versions of how the story were to
Yeah,
end, and I think that's a really cool thing for the community to embrace.
sure.
Is there any final thoughts? You know what? How about this? We'll go around the table and everybody kind of say your final thoughts on the legacy of Exo-Force, starting with Cam.
I'd say despite it not selling well at the time, I feel like those who got the sets have a lot of fond memories,
Mhm.
and I'm sure they're hoping for more tie-ins in some shape or form besides like the roller coaster. Like I feel like if they were to somehow bring it to Ninjago, it would sell like crazy.
Mhm.
So I'd say everyone remembers it fondly. Is it everyone's number one theme? No. But it was an original theme that had a lot of fun play features, a lot of it was very original, a lot of originality with it. And I think that's its legacy. It was original, it was fun, it had a lot of cool parts with it. And nothing has been like it since.
Rob?
Yeah, Axel Force, like I said, I think it was one of my more fondered, childhood series and stuff like that. And just, going back and looking at the sets and the versatility that they did and the way they designed sets and how they, incorporated weird and interesting parts, I think just like, gives it its lasting impact. Because like, on the surface, sometimes you like look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then like you're like, oh well, they used that Bionicle part or that like Jack Stone part, or they used, and then just nowadays, that's kind of common of they use this part or that thing, to do this and stuff. And I think, it is, the very, strong foundational core of,
Hmm.
kind of where Lego went and stuff, and probably Ninjago and other teams kind of building off of that internal IP and, interesting design and the way things went.
I think I agree with that. I think the sets, the part usage was ingenious, how they used a lot of larger pieces. The overall footprint of some of the like the bigger sets was immense, and it's something that
Hmm.
Lego's never really come close to touching since then. Like there have been some big sets, but like never to that level of just like the sheer size for the
Hmm.
price was just you'll never see that again.
Not a chance.
I think all the builds were also very colorful. They were easy to distinguish between one another. Like, oh, there's like the white one, there's a white mech, and there's a blue one, and there's a red one, and then the bad guys were all there too. And like they had a more general color scheme, but like bright colors, bright characters, really interesting looking minifigures with the rubber hair pieces, the
Oh
spiky
yeah.
ones. I think Exo Force paved the way. for some themes. I think Exo-Force paved the way for some themes like Ninjago. Like,
For
okay,
sure.
like Lego touched on the anime kind of side of thing, the more like the manga stuff, and then, you know, 3, 4 years later, here comes Ninjago in 2010, and we go from there. And that was kind of where we go from that point. Is I think Exo-Force is a good test run for them to really be able to play around with that kind of style
Mhm.
before really hitting the ground and being like, what worked, what didn't. We know what doesn't now. Now we can go into Ninjago and know exactly what's going on. Not that that was the plan, but
Mhm.
I think that showed them what they could and could not do in terms of a theme like that. I think it's remembered very fondly. There's sets that we all definitely want from this theme that we'd love to have just to,
Oh yeah.
build and put in our collection one day and be like, yeah, here it is. Um, and I think it'll be remembered very fondly. And I also wanted to say thank you, Rob, for taking time out of your schedule to come on and talk Exo Force with us. Is one of your old favorite themes from when you were younger.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me. It's ran on time. It was great, researching it. I definitely had looked some stuff up and watched. Cheesy Studios has a 5-part series on all the Exo Force sets, and so I sat down and watched all of those. And there was a lot of little interesting tidbits, and just nice to see a recap of the sets and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Just kind of learn all about that.
Yeah, I definitely think I didn't realize he made videos on those. So now I got to go through and watch them now because that'd be kind of fun to go through and
Yeah,
do extra stuff now
Mhm.
after the fact. But thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and hit the notification bell on the YouTube channel too. I forgot to say that. So you are notified when all new episodes go live. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there are 3 other episodes of Time Capsule that are live currently. Those being Galaxy Squad, Video, and Batman '06. So please take time to watch those 3 after you're done with this one. It very much mean a lot to us. We will also see you all on Friday when you watch the next episode of the Brick Hour podcast, our flagship show. That is Fridays at 2. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. These ones, as always, drop Tuesday afternoons at 5 p.m. So always make sure to keep your eyes out. Third Tuesday of every month. That is when those will release. So that's all pretty fun. We will see everybody in the next episode. Have a great night. Happy building.